Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, a warm welcome to World Environment Day 2026 and to this beautiful and historic city of Baku, Azerbaijan, and the Heydar Aliyev Center. Today, on the 5th of June, the world united to mark World Environment Day. And this year, we meet where the Caspian meets the Caucasus, and where cultures, ideas, and people connected for centuries. On behalf of the United Nations Environment Programme, the people and government of the Republic of Azerbaijan, it is my honor to welcome you to this commemorative ceremony. As Azerbaijan hosts World Environment Day, I am reminded of the timeless wisdom of Nizami Ganjavi, the great 12th century Azerbaijani poet and philosopher, whose ideas inspiring generations across cultures and continents. Nizami once wrote, "In his book of life, every page has two sides. We fill one side with our plans, hopes, and wishes, while the Providence writes the other." Today, this reflection feels increasingly relevant, because as on one hand, humanity achieved remarkable progress, on the other, we are witnessing increasing impact of climate change, biodiversity loss, and environmental degradation. The future will depend not only on our ideas, ambitions, and goals, but on our ability to act together and in full harmony with nature. That is precisely the spirit of World Environment Day 2026, with our theme, Inspired by Nature, for climate, for our future. Every generation is defined by the challenges that it inherited, and then by the choices that it makes. Today, we gather here not merely to celebrate nature, but to remember that we have a collective commitment in protecting it. But before we begin, we invite you to journey through extraordinary landscapes, vibrant cities, and rich historical, cultural heritage of Azerbaijan, nation whose deep connection with nature shaped its people, inspired its culture, and defined its spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, please orient yourself towards the screen.
This land has always known how to breathe. Long before we had words for the future, this land already knew it. From ancient forests to glacier peaks to the shores of the Caspian, a living system that has always depended on us as we have always depended on it. The world began to change, and we faced a choice: to look away or to act. Azerbaijan chose to act. In our forests, we began to restore what had been lost. In our liberated lands, we chose to rebuild clean, to rebuild green. In our energy future, we turned toward the sun. On our Caspian shores, we chose stewardship, protecting its waters and the life they hold. We did not wait to be asked. We began. In 2024, Baku stood before the world. Leaders, scientists, activists, and nations gathered here to make commitments that matter. COP29 was a promise, and promises here are kept. Every one of us is part of this. The choice to care made in a classroom, a kitchen, a field, a city street is never too small. Because when enough of us choose it, the world changes. We are not alone in this. Across every continent, every community, every generation, people are choosing nature. Today, we celebrate every one of them. Today, Baku opens its doors, not as a host of negotiations, but as a home for everyone who believes that nature is worth fighting for. World Environment Day 2026. Inspired by nature. For climate. For our future.
What we just witnessed is not a showcase of landscapes and cities. It is a reminder that nature is not separate from our economies, our communities, or our future. The rivers, forests, coastlines, and agricultural land that we will protect today will shape the prosperity, resilience, and well-being of the generations to come. It is my privilege to invite a distinguished group of leaders whose decision, vision, and commitment will help to determine that future. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to invite His Excellency Mr. Mukhtar Babayev, representative of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan on climate issues, to deliver the message of His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, addressed to the participants of World Environment Day. Your Excellency.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to welcome you to Azerbaijan as we gather for the global celebration of World Environment Day 2026. It is my privilege and honor to deliver the message of His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Dear participants, I extend my congratulations to all of you on the occasion of the World Environment Day. Hosting this global celebration for the first time in the region marks an important occasion for Azerbaijan. It reflects acknowledgement of Azerbaijan's increasingly active role in raising environmental awareness at the international level and its contribution to collective efforts to protect our planet. In the 21st century, environmental protection stands amongst shared responsibilities of the international community. Severe consequences of climate change increasing year by year, accelerating depletion of natural resources, including water, biodiversity loss, land degradation, pollution, extreme heat, are among key interrelated processes that demand urgent measures. The environmental challenges facing our planet have devastating impacts, not only on ecosystems, but also on sustainable development, public health, livelihood, and prosperity of countries. The well-being of future generations depends on how effectively we address these challenges today. In Azerbaijan, we take this responsibility seriously and are implementing large-scale initiatives in the field of environmental safeguarding. We are witnessing increasing frequency of both floods and droughts across the country. Water scarcity constitutes a serious concern not only for Azerbaijan, but for the entire region. The decline in the level of the Caspian Sea, approaching historic minimum level recorded over the past 2 centuries, is a clear indication of the severity of the problem. The goal of the clean environment and a green growth country has been identified as one of the 5 key national priorities for Azerbaijan's socio-economic development through 2030. In line with this priority, Targeted efforts are being undertaken to enhance green spaces and forest areas, ensure the efficient use of water resources and sustainable energy sources, and establish modern infrastructure for waste management. To preserve biodiversity, Azerbaijan is also expanding specially protected nature areas. The Irkanian Forest, a unique forested massif which hosts many relicts as well as regionally and locally endemic species of flora, is the first national site in Azerbaijan inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Regrettably, for nearly 30 years, our territories that remain under occupation were subjected to ecocide and herbicide. This led to the disruption of ecological balance in these areas. In addition, the large number of landmines buried in the formerly occupied territories continues to cause serious environmental damage to this day. Immediately after the liberation of its territories, Azerbaijan launched large-scale reconstruction and rehabilitation efforts in its Karabakh and East Zangezur economic regions. Rebuilding infrastructure in line with the smart city and smart village concepts, green energy projects and modern technologies will contribute to the ecosystem restoration. At the same time, Karabakh and East Zangezur, officially declared as green energy zones, offer strong renewable energy potential, including solar, wind, and hydropower resources. Developing green energy is among Azerbaijan's policy priorities. Dear participants, under the global call on inspired by nature, for climate, for our future, this year's World Environment Day focuses on drawing attention to the urgent need to deepen nexus between climate action and nature. Today, climate crisis transcends borders, making it imperative to enhance international cooperation. During its COP29 chairmanship, Azerbaijan provided an important platform for climate diplomacy and multilateralism, as well as reinforce globally solidarity, building bridges between developing and developed countries. The Baku breakthrough, as Azerbaijan's COP legacy, delivered historic decisions. Since COP29, our climate leadership continued, and just 2 weeks ago, the 13th session of the World Urban Forum, the largest ever on record, was hosted by Azerbaijan. The event culminated in the adoption of Baku Call to Action, which emphasized the need for strengthened international cooperation and concrete action to promote sustainable, affordable, and climate-resilient housing for all. Azerbaijan will continue to play an active role in advancing the global environmental agenda by promoting multilateral cooperation with the aim of leaving future generations a green and sustainable legacy. In conclusion, I wish every success to this event. Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Thank you.
Before inviting our next speaker, I would like to once again express our sincere gratitude to His Excellency Mr. Mukhtar Babayev for his efforts under the leadership of His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, during the COP29 presidency, and for his continued commitment to advancing the outcome and the lasting legacy of COP29. Under Azerbaijan's presidency, important progress was achieved in advancing international climate cooperation. Today, as we gather to mark World Environment Day 2026, we continue to build on that momentum through concrete action for climate, nature, and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, protecting nature is not the responsibility of any one nation, institution, or generation. It is a shared commitment that demands vision, leadership, and action. Here in Azerbaijan, environmental protection has become an increasingly important part of the national agenda. From restoring ecosystems and expanding forest covers to protecting biodiversity and promoting sustainable development. Our next speaker has entrusted with leading these efforts at a pivotal moment, helping to shape Azerbaijan's environmental priorities while strengthening international cooperation on some of the most pressing challenges facing our planet. Please join me in welcoming the Minister of Ecology and National Resources of the Republic of Azerbaijan, His Excellency, Mr. Rashad Ismailov.
Əziz qonaqlar, xanımlar və cənablar, 5 iyun Bakı şəhərində Ümumdünya Ətraf Mühit Gününə həsr olunmuş tədbirə xoş gəlmisiniz. Bu gün ölkəmiz ilk dəfə olaraq BMT-nin Ətraf Mühit proqramının tərəfdaşlığı ilə Ümumdünya Ətraf Mühit Gününə ev sahibliyi edir. Bu, Azərbaycanın qlobal ekoloji gündəlikdə fəal iştirakının, beynəlxalq əməkdaşlığa açıq yanaşmasının və ətraf mühitin mühafizəsinə verdiyi önəmin mühüm göstəricisidir. Möhtərəm cənab Prezident İlham Əliyevin müraciətində də qeyd olunduğu kimi, ətraf mühitin qorunması yalnız ayrı-ayrı ölkələrin deyil, bütün beynəlxalq ictimaiyyətin ortaq məsuliyyətidir. Ətraf mühit məsələləri sərhəd tanımır və transsərhəd xarakter daşıyır. Yaşadığımız ətraf mühit, faydalandığımız təbiət, meşələr və biomüxtəliflik, okean və dənizlər, çaylar, nəfəs aldığımız hava ortaq sərvətimizdir. Biz iqtisadi inkişafı, sosial rifahı və ekoloji tarazlığı vəhdətdə təmin etməliyik. Azərbaycan bu yanaşmanı hər zaman dəstəkləyir və dayanıqlı inkişafı prioritet hesab edir. Ölkəmiz yaşıl inkişaf və bərpa olunan enerji mənbələrinin istifadə sahəsində geniş miqyaslı layihələr icra edir. 2030-cu ilə qədər bərpa olunan enerjinin payının 30%-ə çatdırılması hədəflənmişdir. Belə ki, bu bizə Paris sazişinin tərəfi kimi 2035-ci ilə qədər istixana effekti yaradan qaz emissiyalarını azaltmaq üçün zəmin yaradacaqdır. Əfsuslar olsun ki, uzun illər ərzində Ermənistanın işğalı altında qalmış ərazilərimizdə təbii sərvətlərə, ekosistemlərə, flora və faunaya ciddi ziyan vurulmuşdur. Ekosit, urbisit və kultursit törədilmişdir. Hazırda işğaldan azad edilmiş ərazilərə böyük qayıdış dövlət proqramının icrası çərçivəsində Qarabağ və Şərqi Zəngəzur regionunda həyata keçirilən geniş miqyaslı bərpa və qurucuq işləri ekoloji yanaşmalar əsasında aparılır. Qeyd edim ki, Azərbaycan, Qarabağ və Şərqi Zəngəzur regionlarında ekoloji bərpa prosesinin dəstəklənməsi məqsədi ilə BMT-nin Ətraf Mühit proqramının ekspert dəstəyi almışdır və bu dəstəyə görə təşkilata
We're thanking the organizers. Dear President Ilham Aliyev, under his leadership, environmental protection, greening, and forest rehabilitation is done through systematic measures, and big achievements have been achieved. In the last 20 years, only in Baku, more than 100 parks and green areas were established. For ecological balance and well-being of the population, large-scale projects have been implemented. Azerbaijan is rich for biodiversity, and this heritage and protection and enlargement and development of national parks and increasing the number of forests and preserving rare fauna and flora is our responsibility. In Akharbakar and Ilisu reserves were established, and the network of protected areas is now covers more than 10% of the territory of Azerbaijan. In Karabakh and Eastern Zangezur, new national parks are being established. NGOs' activity in this process is also deserves mentioning. For the protection of biodiversity, to restore IDEA, Public Union, and other NGOs have realized a number of initiatives. We're now celebrating Environment Day, World Environment Day in Azerbaijan, and this reminds us the importance of our nature. The marvel of our region, Caspian Sea, its level is decreasing, and we're cooperating with international organizations, and we continue our efforts to raise awareness on this problem. Azerbaijan, together with Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Russia, have organized working groups and scientific research of the reasons of the decrease of the Caspian Sea, and rehabilitation measures are being considered. We have already started these activities. The management of waste in Azerbaijan, several reforms have been carried out. Plastic pollution is one of our priorities, and we have contributed, and we have established a new strategy in Azerbaijan in this regard. Dear participants, climate change, biodiversity loss, and loss of water resources, soil degradation, other similar issues are interrelated processes, and international cooperation should be strengthened to protect these values. Azerbaijan is party to more than 20 ecological treaties. This is a demonstration of the commitment of Azerbaijan and the importance given by Azerbaijan to international collaboration. Head of the country, Mr. Ilham Aliyev, mentioned at various platforms, Azerbaijan as COP29 host has become one of the most important platforms for discussions, and Azerbaijan plays a significant role in this regard. A few weeks ago, Azerbaijan hosted the WOF 13 in Baku. Such events and raising ecological mindset of the population increases in Azerbaijan, and I am confident that the impact of World Environment Day in Azerbaijan will also be significant. Under the Framework Convention, Baku Climate Week will be held in Azerbaijan. Taking this opportunity, I would like to wish success to brotherly Turkey, who will host COP31, and we are ready to help them in organizing this event. For development of global climate agenda, we will continue our active participation. Dear guests, nature gives us a lot of fruits, values, and the nature has expectations from us, responsibility, solidarity, and long vision. World Environment Day brings together scientific and academic circles, youth, NGOs, public sector, private sector, and youth should actively participate in these activities. This shouldn't be limited with this audience, and this during the current year, ecological awareness, tree planting initiatives, reintroduction of biodiversity initiatives, and environmental protection measures and initiatives have been carried out. Digital ecological platform was introduced. Modern drone technologies are being used, and also AI-based solutions are being prepared. During the year, we have worked with UNEP, this global mission, and would like to thank UN Environment Program, Ms. Inger Andersen and her team helped us, and we kind of thank them for their contribution. And in the end, I would like to wish to congratulate Serbia, who will host, and I would like to thank my colleague Sara Pavkova, and would like to thank her for participating in today's event. Once again, I wish you every success and wish you fruitful discussions, and wish every success to the event. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, at a time when environment transcends borders, global leadership has never been more important. Our next speaker has become one of the world's leading voices for belief that no nation can solve these challenges alone, and that the future we leave to our children will be shaped by decisions and choices that we make today. Through her leadership, she has helped to unite countries around a shared vision for people, planet, and future generations. Please join me in welcoming the Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, Her Excellency, Ms. Inger Andersen.
Good morning. Your Excellency Mukhtar Babayev, representative of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Your Excellency Rashad Ismailov, Minister of Ecology and Natural Resources of Azerbaijan. And Your Excellency Sara Pavkov, Minister of Environmental Protection of Serbia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends. We are here in this beautiful city of Baku once more, and this time we are marking World Environment Day 2026, which this year focuses on, yes, nature and how, based on this, we will make a global call for climate action. And it is important to know that Azerbaijan continues to play a critical and important global, as well as regional and national role in climate action. Of course, hosting COP29, we will not forget how amazing leadership from this country, including from His Excellency the President, delivered the Baku Promise and the Baku outcomes, and how the climate talks here in 2024 guided the world to an agreement on mobilizing $300 billion in climate finance by 2035. And just last month, as we heard, Baku hosted the World Urban Forum, which placed a focus on the need for climate resilience and nature and cities across the world. And now, Azerbaijan is helping UNEP to focus the minds and actions on climate action, change, so that at this 54th Global Observance of World Environment Day, we make that promise to each other. My deep thanks. Excellencies, climate change is indeed an issue that should be on the forefront of all of our minds. Global temperatures are rising and climate impacts are intensifying, and the planet is sending us signals. And these signals come in the form of heat waves, of droughts, of floods, of desertification, sand and dust storms. And the impacts harm us all, with the poorest and the most vulnerable suffering the most. Azerbaijan, as well as all countries in this world, are facing many climate challenges, and here, as we heard from the previous distinguished speakers, from the degradation of mountain ecosystems to the decline of water levels in the Caspian Seas. We also understand that that threatens ports and economic activities and fisheries and infrastructures and coastal communities. But that must not be the cause of despair. That is not the story we are writing. The story is not yet written, and the pen is in our hands. We can craft our own story by acting to slow down climate change, by delivering a safer nature, by delivering safer and healthier and more prosperous and more equitable societies. It is in our hands. Climate action is a huge opportunity for nations and peoples of the world. If we act now, as a global community, we can prevent millions of death and disease and trillions in economic losses by 2050. We can drive jobs and growth and opportunity and well-being and better health and investment and resilience, and we can all thrive together. The solutions are not theoretical. It is not just something written on a piece of paper. They are real, and we are seeing it really in every city in this country and in every place across the world. They are here, and they are scaling fast because it makes economic and societal sense. And they offer a host of benefits. Clean energy and clean mobility are rapidly expanding, promising greater energy security, energy independence for nations. Renewables has surpassed coal as the largest source of electricity in 2025, just last year. And the clean energy juggernaut will not stop for anyone. But we still need to be smarter and more flexible about how we use electricity to minimize emissions and prevent grid overload. And cities, as we heard in the WUF just a few weeks back, are leading on climate solutions, from tackling extreme heat with sustainable cooling and heat-resilient buildings, to urban nature and climate-smart design. And local governments are moving in to ensure climate proofing of urban spaces. Indeed, speaking with the mayor of the city and His Excellency the Minister, I understand that in this very city, you are expanding parks at a rapid pace to make those urban breathing spaces available to people. And at the start of the week, more than 50 cities around the world joined UNEP's new 50 at 50 activation to share tested approaches to extreme heat adaptation and preparedness. We're inviting all cities to join 50 at 50 to help protect people, reduce inequalities, and strengthen urban resilience. The world is also uniting to cut methane and other superpollutants, which can bring fast wins for climate and clean air. And here I commend Azerbaijan's leadership from the Regional Organic Waste Declaration, also now being implemented through the acceleration plan to the action in the oil and gas sector. This includes the state oil company of the Republic of Azerbaijan's engagement with UNEP's Oil and Gas Methane Partnership 2.0 to tackle leaks, venting, and flaring in operations. Actions are also growing to reduce food loss and food waste, which, as we know, as food waste degrades, is a major cause of emissions. And so by doing that, we are boosting food security and we are saving money in our pockets. Sustainable buildings are here also lowering energy use and supporting resilient growth. And the momentum is growing back to nature, the planet's original climate solution. Backing nature is critical because healthy ecosystems absorb the carbon, regulate the water, protect communities, provides for clean air, and makes, frankly, livability much more available. Because ecosystems also restore and create jobs, strengthen economies, and help vulnerable communities adapt. Because protecting forests could help us avoid tens of billions of dollars in disaster losses every year. And because nature improves air quality, urban resilience, urban health, both mental and physical. And because nature also plays a vital role in reducing extreme heat and enabling equitable access to sustainable cooling. And I invite you to remember when you are at your happiest, when you look back and just think, when were you at the happiest? Probably you had a child by your hand, and probably you were in nature. So Excellency's global political momentum is growing for climate action. Just last month, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution backing the International Court of Justice ruling that nations have a legal obligation to protect people and the planet from greenhouse gas emissions. But we have more work to do. Global temperature rise is very likely soon to exceed the 1.5 degrees set in the Paris Accord. So we must strive even harder to return to this level by the end of the century, while protecting communities and nations, particularly small island developing states, from the stronger and more frequent impacts that are coming. And that means transitioning away from fossil fuels in the energy systems in a just, orderly, and equitable manner. That means investing in and deploying every available solution urgently and at scale. And that means financing on the table, as promised here in Baku, strong financing and meaningful adaptation, early warning and disaster preparedness, and more. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we know that multilateral action on climate change can make a difference. At the time of the adoption of the Paris Agreement in 2015, let's remember that global temperatures were predicted to rise to 3.5 degrees by 2100 or even higher. So today we're looking at 2.3 to 2.5 degrees. It's better, but not good enough, but the student is improving in class. And if policies are put in place and implemented, we will push harder and bring it further down to attain the net zero emissions and lower temperatures further. We can prevail in this fight for the planet's future, but it will take action from all of us, from the wealthiest of nations and individuals who hold the biggest responsibility for the climate crisis, so that we can make a difference to the grassroots of climate activists and ordinary people across the world. World Environment Day is not just sending a signal, it's also passing on one. The planet has for years been sending signals that its limits is approaching. Today, on this World Environment Day, thousands, no, millions of climate-focused events are happening across the world every day in every house and every city, and millions of people are making their voices heard online, calling for climate action. Azerbaijan is showing the importance of efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Azerbaijan is making the signal very clear. And the world is heeding this message. We must all do the same and act on climate change as though our lives depended on it, because it does. Thank you very much.
We are now honored to receive a message from a leader who has consistently reminded the world that there is no time to lose in our response to climate crisis. Please direct your attention to the screen for a message from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres.
This World Environment Day, warning signals are everywhere. The past 11 years have been the 11 hottest on record. And the damage goes far beyond rising temperatures, from polluted air to degraded land, collapsing ecosystems and vanishing biodiversity, harming health, destroying homes and deepening hunger. The world is heading for a temporary overshoot above 1.5 degrees. Every fraction of a degree brings greater harm, especially to the most vulnerable. Our task is to make that overshoot as small, as short, and as safe as possible, and rapidly bring temperatures back down. That means slashing emissions, accelerating a just transition away from fossil fuels and towards renewables, the only sustainable path to lower costs and to real energy security. Cutting methane, one of the fastest, cheapest ways to limit near-term warming, protecting forests, land and seas, helping communities adapt to the devastating impacts already here, and it means fulfilling climate finance promises to developing countries to save lives, protect livelihoods, and strengthen economies. This is the moment to act for our environment and for our future.
Climate action is not defined by a single conference or a single year. It is a journey that requires continuity, commitment, and ever greater ambition. As the global community looks ahead to the next chapter of that journey, we are honored to hear from the President-designate of COP31, the Honorable Murat Kurum, Minister of Environment, Urbanization and Climate Change of Republic of Turkey.
Değerli dostlar, kıymetli çevre gönüllüleri.
Dear friends and environmental activists, I'm very glad to be addressing you. Today we're talking about not only our environment, but our future of our generations, of our children. And we're talking about the shared responsibility. We know that land isn't the place where we live. It's our memory. It's our home and country, homeland. This is our precious legacy. The environmental struggle is also an act of patriotism.
Toprağına, suyuna, havasına ve gelecek nesillerine sahip çıkma iradesidir. COP31 başkanlığı olarak biz her adımımızda bu anlayışla hareket edeceğiz. Özellikle Bakü finans hedefi başta olmak üzere COP29'da ortaya konulan taahhütlerin takipçisi olacağız. Çünkü çok taraflı sistemin güvenilirliği yalnızca hedef belirlemekle sağlanmaz. Verilen sözlerin tutulmasıyla sağlanır. Alınan kararların sahada uygulamasıyla sağlanır. İnsanların hayatına dokunan somut sonuçlarla sağlanır. Bu anlayışla COP31 yalnızca yeni taahhütlerin konuşulduğu bir zirve olmayacaktır. COP31 uygulamanın, işbirliğinin ve somut sonuçların öne çıktığı bir COP olacaktır. Çünkü dünya artık sadece yeni sözler duymak istemiyor. Dünya verilen sözlerin hayata geçtiğini görmek istiyor. Bu başarının anahtarı ise toplumun tüm kesimlerinin sürece katılımıdır. Hükümetlerden yerel yönetimlere, özel sektörden akademiye, gençlerden kadınlara, sivil toplumdan finans dünyasına kadar herkesin bu dönüşümün bir parçası olması gerektiğine inanıyoruz. COP31'i ortak sorumluluğun, güçlü işbirliklerinin, güven tazeleyen iklim diplomasisinin ve somut eylemin buluşma noktası.
kitchen
at the gateway to the Amazon, one of the planet's greatest national treasures and one of its most powerful reminders at what is at stake. Today, we are pleased to hear from a leader who helped to guide that global conversation and advance the call for nature-based solutions. Please direct your attention to the screen for a message from the President of COP30, His Excellency, Mr. André Correa do Lago.
Hello, I am André Correa do Lago. I'm in Rio de Janeiro, and I am so sorry I cannot join you in Baku for this event. I would love to be with my friends Mukhtar and Inger and celebrate the World Environmental Day together in that amazing center designed by Zaha Hadid. I chose the background of the Ministry of Education in Rio, which is the first skyscraper, 1936, the first modernist skyscraper ever, to try to compensate for my architectural frustration of not being with you. This is a very important opportunity, and it is also an occasion for all of us to get together around this theme and making sure UNEP, COP29, COP30 are hand in hand to progress towards real results. And I'm so happy with the support of all of you. COP30 has been a very important step in making sure that we are now entering truly an implementation phase. And I'm sure that the results of what is happening now in Baku will be very relevant for the continuation of the Brazilian presidency until November in Antalya. So thank you so much for being together, debating what we really need to do. And I say hello to all of you and hope to see you soon somewhere to continue our fight together.
More than half of humanity now calls city a home. And the choices we make in our cities of how we build, connect, and live together will help determine the future of our planet. Here in Baku, the recent World Urban Forum reminded us that sustainable cities are not simply an inspiration. They are an essential part of climate solution. Please direct your attention to the screen for a message from the Executive Director of UN Habitat, Ms. Anna Claudia Rosbach.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, friends, Baku, through the strong commitment of the government of Azerbaijan, stands at the crossroads of some of the most important global conversations on urban development, environment, and climate action, hosting milestones from COP29 and the World Urban Forum to this year's World Environment Day global celebrations, and later welcoming an official UNFCCC Climate Week. At the World Urban Forum, the Baku Continuity Coalition brought together COP presidencies and WOOF hosts, creating a vital platform to advance an integrated approach that bridges the urban and climate agendas and strengthens alignment between the Paris Agreement and the new urban agenda, demonstrating how serious the government of Azerbaijan takes connecting global agendas. The Baku Call to Action from the World Urban Forum reminds us that our cities must evolve in harmony with the natural systems that sustain life, echoing the World Environment Day theme, inspired by nature for climate, for our future. The Baku Call to Action underscores housing as a cornerstone of sustainable urban development, calling for a decisive shift toward inclusive, affordable, and climate-resilient homes for all. It calls for a renewed commitment to nature-based solutions, restoring ecosystems, designing greener urban spaces, and strengthening resilience so that human settlements not only reduce their environmental footprint, but actively build communities' resilience. By aligning urban development with the wisdom of nature, we can transform our cities into engines of climate action and inclusive prosperity, ensuring a sustainable and hopeful future for generations to come. Wishing you all an inspiring and meaningful World Environment Day.
Climate commitments only matter if they lead to action. From the Paris Agreement to national climate plans, to the world has set its course. The challenge now is to turn that ambition into implementation and promises into progress. Our next speaker has become one of the most respected voices calling for urgency, accountability, and collective action in defining this decade. Please join me in welcoming the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, His Excellency Mr. Simon Steele. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Climate action is our theme this year, for World Environment Day and for the world. The worst energy shock in a generation has the global economy trapped in a vice-like grip, delivering a live lesson in the benefits of renewables. And nations are bracing for a brutal El Niño, for searing temperatures and surging rains. Just halfway through 2026, the lesson from the year is already clear. Climate action is essential for economic stability, national security, and human well-being the world over. We must harness that momentum and accelerate action to meet the pace the science demands, fortify economies, and save lives. That means delivery, implementing global climate commitments fast and fairly, tripling global renewables capacity by 2030, transitioning away from fossil fuels, halting and reversing deforestation, and delivering the new climate finance goal agreed at COP29 under Azerbaijan's presidency. And I commend Azerbaijan's continued leadership since. International cooperation is essential. Countries must work together to turn commitments into projects on the ground. That means elevating implementation within COPs to take center stage alongside the negotiations. It means coalitions of the willing out in front, carving a path for others to follow. And it means making the roadmap to $1.3 trillion a reality, ensuring developing countries have the finance they need to embrace clean energy and climate resilience. Because when climate action is the theme of the year, implementation is the word of the day. I thank you.
Every World Environment Day is both a milestone and a promise. A milestone that allows us to reflect on how far we've come, and a promise to continue the journey together. Today, the journey passes from Azerbaijan to Serbia. We warmly congratulate Serbia on being selected as the host for World Environment Day 2027. And we wish our Serbian friends every success in preparing this important global event. Next year, the world will gather in Belgrade for World Environment Day 2027, coinciding with World Expo 2027. A unique opportunity to place sustainability, innovation, and international cooperation at the center of global conversation about our shared future. Please join me in welcoming the Minister of Environmental Protection of Republic of Serbia, Her Excellency Ms. Sara Pavkov. Your Excellencies, Mr. Babayev, Mr. Ismailov, Ms. Anderson, distinguished participants, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I need to shorten my speech because we really need to act. It is a privilege to address you today at the celebration of the World Environmental Day here in Baku. Under the inspiring call, inspired by nature for climate and our future, we gather united and shared responsibility to protect our planet and to accelerate progress towards a climate-resilient future for present and future generations. On behalf of the Republic of Serbia, allow me to express sincere gratitude to the Republic of Azerbaijan for their hospitality and leadership in hosting this important global event. Today, we come together not only as representatives of nations, but as guardians of a shared home. Inspired by nature, we commit to building a climate-resilient future together. Across the globe, we are confronted with a great number of complex and interconnected challenges. We already heard climate change, biodiversity loss, land degradation, pollution, and mounting pressure on water resources. These challenges know no borders and demand a joint, coordinated, and inclusive response from the international community, guided by the principles of sustainable development, solidarity, and partnership. Therefore, it is imperative that we stand united in confronting these urgent realities. In this spirit, we must harness the power of nature to find solutions that are innovative, sustainable, and grounded in sound science and the resilience of ecosystems. By drawing upon nature's strength, we can transform challenges into opportunities. This is precisely why the Republic of Serbia directs its efforts towards strengthening cooperation and jointly identifying solutions capable of delivering lasting and sustainable outcomes. In recent years, Serbia has adopted key legislative and strategic frameworks, including the Law on Climate Change and Low Carbon Development Strategy and the Integrated National Energy and Climate Plan. We have established a robust MRV system and advanced policies in waste management, wastewater treatment, air quality protection, and nature conservation. Through these measures, Serbia is not only aligning with the European Union's environmental acquis, but also demonstrating its readiness to contribute actively to international climate governance. Our efforts are guided by the firm conviction that protecting nature is inseparable from protecting our future. Supported by a stable policy framework and a clear vision, Serbia is successfully addressing the challenges of our time. Because these challenges transcend national borders, we are gathered here today to call upon the action. Only through such collective engagement we can assure a climate-resilient and sustainable future for present and future generations. We extend our highest recognition to the Republic of Azerbaijan for the exemplary organization of World Environmental Day 2026. This celebration stands as a testament to vision, dedication, and the power of collective actions, thus setting a high standard for all future hosts. For Serbia, it is both an extraordinary source of inspiration and a meaningful challenge to build upon this legacy and to ensure that the World Environmental Day 2027 in Belgrade reaches an even greater level of impact and visibility. Under the leadership of the President of the Republic of Serbia, Mr. Aleksandar Vučić, we have opportunity to be here to speak about environment and to be the host for Environmental Day 2027 under the auspices of the United Nations Environmental Programme within the framework of Expo 2027 Belgrade, and that will carry immense significance for the Republic of Serbia. It will further elevate our country's visibility and reinforce Serbia's position as a committed and active participant in the global environmental agenda and the promotion also of the sustainable development. For us, this honor is not only a privilege, but also a solemn responsibility to ensure that the World Environmental Day 2027 becomes a milestone in advancing our common vision of a sustainable, climate-resilient future. We embrace this responsibility with pride and determination, fully committed to contributing to the global momentum for sustainable and resilience. Today's ceremonial handover of the hosting of the World Environmental Day 2027 to the Republic of Serbia marks a solemn and symbolic moment of continuity. It embodies our shared responsibility to sustain momentum and to inspire collective action at the global level. Excellencies, esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen, let us be inspired by nature, guided by science, and united in purpose. Together, we can accelerate progress towards a sustainable and really climate-resilient future. The Republic of Serbia stands ready to contribute, to cooperate, and to lead with responsibility, vision, and hope. With determination and solidarity, we will ensure that our shared efforts leave a lasting legacy of sustainability for all generations to come. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, what a morning of vision, commitment, and hope. Throughout the ceremony, we have spoken the language of policy, science, and international cooperation. But there is another language that unites humanity, the language of art and culture. Culture has this unique ability to reach places where facts and figures simply cannot. It speaks directly to our hearts. Through music, dance, and storytelling, we encounter the wisdom of our ancestors, the deep connection with nature, and the values they entrusted to future generations. It reminds us that our relationship with the natural world is not only economical or practical. It is emotional, spiritual, and it is deeply human. And there is perhaps no better way to understand what we're striving to safeguard than through the artistic expression of the people and the living heritage that they carry within them. Please sit back and allow Azerbaijan to speak to you through its music, its tradition, and its soul.
The day we arrive on the planet and blinking step into the sun, there's more to see than can never be seen, more to do than can ever be done.
Some say eat or be eaten, some say live and let lead, but all are agreed as they join the stampede, you should never take more than you give.
It's the circle of life, and it moves us all through this pain and hope, through faith and love,
Till we find our place on the path of wonders, in the circle of life. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can never be found.
but the sun falling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round.
The circle of life,
The circle of life.
it's the wheel of fortune,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a leap of faith, it's a band of
Till we find our place on a path inviting in the
circle of life, till we find our place on the path of in the circle of life.
Azerbaijan is a land of ancient history. Among the rocks of Gobustan, ancient petroglyphs created thousands of years ago still remain. A model of tolerance and mutual respect. Different cultures and religions have lived side by side here for generations. The soul of Azerbaijan lives in its culture, in music, in national dances, in the art of carpet weaving, in ancient copper craftsmanship passed down from generation to generation. Azerbaijan is also a culture of hospitality. Traditional cuisine brings people together around one table. Every meeting here is filled with warmth and respect for traditions. The old city preserves the spirit of the past. Modern Baku reflects the energy of the future.
Azerbaijan continues to inspire the world with its nature, culture, and harmony.
Severler meskeni zahmet üner vatan. Su severler meskeni zahmet üner vatan. Sana koştum benim Azerbaycanım. Şerefim, şöhretim, şanım. Benim Azerbaycanım. Şerefim, şöhretim, şanım. Dost ile bağlar benim Azerbaycanım. Şerefim, şöhretim, şanım. Benim Azerbaycanım. Şerefim, şöhretim, şanım. Benim Azerbaycanım. Şerefim, şöhretim, şanım.
I see trees all green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark secret night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see a friend shake your hand, saying, how do you do? As I really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll never know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world, yes. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a journey we shared today. And our planet has one more message to send. And this time, we invite you to be a part of it. This is the UNEP Now for Climate Global Limbo Dance Challenge, a global movement with a simple message. Every fraction of degree matters. It asks the world one question: how low can we keep global warming to safeguard our planet for our future and the future generations? The answer depends on all of us. And today, the dancers of Azerbaijan invite us all to rise to that challenge. These beautiful children before you are members of DOST Center for Inclusive Development and Creativity, established on the initiative of the first Vice President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Mrs. Mehriban Aliyeva. For nearly 5 years, this innovative center has become a place where art acts as a bridge for social integration and where people from vulnerable groups with impairments have discovered their creative potential. Today, their talent speaks for itself. So let's welcome and support them in their freestyle performance.
I think about the highs. Yeah, mess me around, and now you keep calling, wondering if you can make it right. I told you it's the end for you, and I swear this time we're through. But it's a lie when you call my name. Yeah, ooh, that sounds so right, so right, so right. Deep down, wishing you were mine. Deep down, miss you all the time. Dream about what we could have been if we tried up. But deep down, wishing you were mine, were mine. You got me so, I wanna go. You got me so, yeah. You got me so, I wanna go. You got me so, yeah. Yeah, need to be strong. As soon as I see you, you can turn my tables back around. So easy, you got the control. Just hearing your speech just gets me kinda crazy, kinda foolish, foolish. I told you it's the end for you, and I swear this time we're through. But it's a lie when you call my name. Yeah, ooh, that sounds so right, so right, so right. Deep down, wishing you were mine. Deep down, miss you all the time. Dream about what we could have been if we tried up. But deep down, wishing you were mine, were mine. Dream about what we could have been if we tried up. 'Cause deep down, wishing you were mine, were mine. You got me so deep down, wishing you were mine. Deep down, miss you all the time. Dream about what we could have been if we tried up. But deep down, wishing you were mine, were mine. You got me so, I wanna go. You got me so.
Our next guest belongs to a generation that understands something important, that influence carries responsibility. Today, he joins us not simply as an international artist, but as a voice supporting global movement for climate awareness and environmental action. With more than 12 million followers worldwide, please join me in giving a warm World Environment Day welcome to Mark Lee.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Lee. It is a true honor to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me to the World Environment Day and to Azerbaijan here in Baku. It is a beautiful city, before I sing you guys a song, I would like to tell you a short story. I visited Kenya earlier this year, and at that time I was going through a very important time of my life. I had to make a very important decision for my career and for my life. And so I had a lot of people telling me a lot of advice, asking me questions that I didn't really know the answer to. And so I was going through a strange, confusing period of time, but I was in Kenya, and so I went on a safari, and I saw so many beautiful animals, and I saw a lion, and at that moment I kind of realized that sometimes it's not really important to know the answer to all these questions and to know if you're perfectly ready for everything, but just if you're willing to take this next step for real change. And so I made this song in Kenya. It's called Ready or Not. And if I am correct, and if we're all getting the right memo, the same memo, I do believe that our planet is also asking us the same question. Not if we're ready, but if we're willing to raise our voices and take this step, if we're willing to care for real change. I believe our souls all have this longing for a better world, and I think that's one of the truest pieces of evidence that there is and that there could be a better world for everybody. So the song is called Ready or Not. Hope you enjoy.
Am I making you cry? I'm outside on a bench all alone, and I can't call you right now, 'cause I left my phone at home. Am I wrong when I'm not who you want me to be? Don't you know there's a dream that is calling me? When I saw that line, I thought, didn't matter if I was ready or not, 'cause my heart knows more than my eyes can see. Doesn't matter if I'm ready or not. Mama, look, I'm here, up in the sky. The world is just so big, but my world is bigger than that. When I saw that lion, I thought, didn't matter if I was ready or not, 'cause my heart knows more than my eyes can see. When I saw that lion, I thought, didn't matter if I was ready or not, 'cause my heart knows more than my eyes can see. Doesn't matter if I'm ready or not. Cause my heart knows more than my eyes can see. Doesn't matter if I'm ready or not. Yeah, you. Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Thank you.
As we come to the conclusion of this official ceremony, we would like to thank all distinguished guests, representatives of governments, international organizations, diplomatic corps, academia, civil society, youth, and private sector for joining us today to mark World Environment Day 2026. Before we close, I would kindly invite all participants to take part in our commemorative group photograph to mark this special occasion. As part of the family photo session, may I kindly ask you to stand up and hold the symbolic leaf featuring the key messages and slogans of World Environment Day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your participation, your commitment, and your continued support for environmental action. Guests who wish to explore the festival, visit the exhibition areas, and learn more about the environmental initiatives. Thank you, and enjoy the remainder of the program.